Hey everyone, this is Gary. Hope you all are doing well. Welcome to this week's live Path to Prosperity webinar. For all of you in the different programs, Path to Investor Agent Training Program, Flipping for Profits uh, without the risk, rental profits without the pain, turning rental problems into real estate profits, and wholesaling so everybody wins. Welcome aboard. Most importantly, welcome aboard to all the newer folks. We should have a lot of people here from New York and New Jersey. And actually, I see a lot of people from pretty much all over. So all the way down to Arkansas. Hey, Maxine, hope you're doing well. Mike just ran into Mike last week at Manhattan. Some newer folks, some veterans, Lisa, Joel, Jessica. Okay, guys, I'm glad you guys are on board and got a great session tonight. Now, we're going to have Marcos to get us some makeup from last week. And but he's MIA, so we're gonna unfortunately probably drop him from future invites. And it's a shame because he's got some great information, but I'm not just knowing what to think of it. 2 weeks in a row like this. So in any case, what we're gonna do is tonight. I planned for this already because Marcus coming on tonight was a makeup, so we already had this week's plan. A lot of you have been asking to go over the what I call the interview process, the sequence of steps we go through when we actually work with investors. And the cool thing is if you're an investor, you're gonna love it because these are the exact steps that I went through doing my own investing way back when I developed this probably 20 years ago. And it was literally how I was able to accumulate, hundreds, 250 units. Well, in 17 years, I was doing it the hard way, which is what most people are doing. Kind of one at a time, reacting to the market, things like that. I mean, in 17 years, I had exactly 42 units. But when I figured out how to do it the right way, in less than 5 years, I had another 208 units. So that's the process I'm going to show you tonight. And then all we did was turn this into a process to show our clients as brokers. I'm a broker too, just like many of you. We're investors and we're agents, okay? So in any case, without further ado, real quick, I'm sorry, a little bit of housekeeping. For those of you who are new, you'll notice that by default, you're in mute mode. You do and can and do use the chat box, your question box for posting questions, okay? I need to give you my usual weekly message here to make sure everybody is okay technologically, so hang on one second. Can you see my screen and hear my voice? So if you could all respond to that, just let me know that you can see my screen and hear my voice. That would be awesome. Hey, Shirley, how you doing? Good to see you a few weeks back. I don't know if you're interested, Shirley, but we're doing the 3-day event again in New York. I'm sure you probably have already heard about it, but it will be at the Westchester Marriott. So by the way, for all of you, particularly the New Yorkers, if you haven't already registered as an active student, well, actually, any of you guys in New York and New Jersey, it's driving distance for most of you. For everyone else, you probably have to fly in. LaGuardia is the closest major airport, and then you can catch a shuttle there. It's probably like a half-hour shuttle. But the place where this guy is, Westchester, it's sort of way north of the Bronx, near White Plains. It's an awesome, beautiful part of the state. I mean, just in a couple of weeks, we should be seeing colors. I just drove up to the Hudson Valley yesterday. I'm looking out right now. I can already see some colors starting to change. Beautiful part of the country. And again, it's a great experience to come and learn a lot. And it's more than just like digging into calculators and spreadsheets. I mean, there's just it's a pretty intense learning environment. Let's see, this was Michael. Good to see you, Manhattan. Yeah, good to see you too, Michael. Okay, looks like everybody's okay, guys. Also, remember tomorrow, please look for the email from Beverly that has the recording of this session. It's going to, she's going to give you instructions, the upcoming webinar schedule, updates to the systems, updates to the platforms, anything you guys need to hear and see in the training programs. Okay, so let's see. Everybody's saying they're okay. Let's see. Hi, Gary. Joel and Marissa from the Bronx here. Hey, Joel and Marissa. Good to see you guys, man. Brand new students, right? Let's see. Everybody else says they're okay. So look for the email from Beverly. If you do have suggestions on future webinars, you've got to let me know, guys, week in advance, so I can prepare. And we'll pull content from all, just because you may be in one training program, I can and will pull content from other training programs too, to go through these sessions. So also, it's a great idea. If you're looking at properties, man, bring them up, send them in to me ahead of time. Whatever you've got, your spreadsheets, pictures, listings, whatever, we'll bring those up online here, live in front of everybody, and break them down, literally, income, expense, the whole 9 yards, using 2 different calculators to help you determine if you or your client's making a good decision. So great opportunity to do that, as well as learn and get some insight on different parts of the US and Canada. So, okay, without further ado, let me bring up, tonight's subject is this. We have gone over this for a while anyways. Usually it comes up every couple of months. I just did this a while back. I think it was June, perhaps, when it comes to working with landlords buying rentals. What I'm going to do, guys, is take you through the step-by-step process on how do you work with flippers, how, everything from the interview all the way through to servicing them and making offers. If you follow these instructions, this is how you're going to make a real business out of this, and not be like a traditional agent in reaction mode, going out at night showing properties and reacting every time somebody calls you, things like that. There's an actual process we go through that's more business-like, because remember, you are a business. In fact, everybody repeat after me. Say, I am a business. In fact, type it in so I can see you typing it in. I am a business, and you are a business, okay? I'm a business, you're a business. And remember, when you feel like a business, when you act like a business, I promise you, the rest of the world's going to respond to you like you're a business, because you are a business, right? So before we get into the actual, it's a 12-step process. I just want to preface it with this. What we're going over tonight is as a result of you doing marketing properly. And remember, we don't do broadcast marketing with this. We do targeted marketing, niche level marketing, okay? Specific, we identify specifically the audiences that are going to receive our marketing, so that we can drive up response rates and drive up conversion rates, okay? Now, assuming we've done some marketing, these folks are going to respond to you. They're going to call you, they're going to email you, whatever the case is. However you ask them to respond to you, they're going to respond to you. And at that point, a lot of agents are like, what do I do now? So this is what we're going to talk about tonight. So everybody just relax. Make sure you got a pen or a pencil handy and a piece of paper, okay? By the way, if you're in the investor or agent training program, this is in module 2. You will find this also in the Flipping for Profits program. I can't remember the exact module off the top of my head right now, but it's in there too. All right, so first things first is, when someone responds to you from your marketing, let's just assume it's a phone call, okay? And quickly ascertain what the current state of mind is. In other words, if they call you up and they start rambling on, asking a bunch of questions and don't even give you a chance to talk, they're ready to go through the interview. You want to interview them right there on the spot. However, if they call you and you get them on the phone and you're trying to build rapport, remember, guys, number one, always write this down. Always build rapport first. It's not on here, so this isn't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put 0-A. Always build rapport first. Even if it's a client you've known for years, always take a moment. Hey, how's the kids? How was that last trip you took? How's the last property you flipped? Whatever the case is, build rapport first, okay? Now, in that rapport building process, you'll know whether or not it's a good time to interview them, because the interview is going to take a little bit of time, okay? If you don't think that they're ready, okay, it's not a good time to be going through a lot of Q&A. At this point, set an appointment with them and make it so it's official and it's formal, because it is, and tell them that this is a serious process, it's an involved process. Be glad to help them. You're professionally trained to work with investors, and maybe you invest yourself, maybe you've already worked with investors. You can tell them that and say, if they really don't believe they have 15 minutes to a half hour, you should set an appointment, and set the appointment. At that time, pick the date and time, okay? And you call them. Always make it so you call them. Now, let's assume that they are ready. They're like, hey, they got a half hour, they're ready to rock and roll, you've built rapport. It's time to move forward, okay? So once you build rapport, and here's how you build rapport, it's actually quite easy. Chances are they're responding to something you've already given them. Could be the booklet, could be a number of things that you just, Facebook marketing campaign, LinkedIn, Instagram. Maybe they were at one of the workshops you're going to be putting on, things like that. Okay. In any case, once you build rapport and you determine what marketing campaign they responded to, let's just say, for example, they responded to the booklet, and in the booklet, you've given them samples of properties. Okay. So you show them, in the case of the booklet for flips, you've given them examples of flips, the before listing, when the property is initially purchased by an investor, and then the after listing, when it's put back on the market for sale, once the remodeling is complete. So now you've got before and after, A and B. And in your booklet, you would also put in there, remember the story. Remember we talked about some story. You give them what happened in the flip. New countertops, new chandeliers, new doorknobs, what have you. By the way, to find samples of flips for booklet is actually quite easy. You just look for properties that have sold twice in the last year, and the second price is much higher than the lower priced. And particularly if you see the listing agent on the resale was the buyer's agent on the initial purchase, chances are they're like us, they know what to do with investors. Call them up and ask them what their investor did to the property to make it such a good flip. Now you've got your story. So in any case, back to this. You've got a booklet with examples of flips in there. So they've got this in front of them. You can use that to further establish rapport, more importantly, determine where they want to be, what part of town, what types of properties do they want to flip. Because remember, you can flip, you don't just have to flip single family homes. You can flip multi-unit buildings. I mean, I've flipped buildings as many as 15, 16 units before, okay? The point is you've got something you can work with to help you establish what their needs and wants are, which is really what you're looking to accomplish here. Establish needs and wants. And they might go into a lot of their own story. Hey, I flipped the house before, this happened, that happened, whatever the case is. Let them talk and listen, because they're going to be giving you valuable information. All right. Now, let's say they flipped homes before, and one of their concerns is that there's really hard to find other potential flips right now in the world of single family homes. At this point, you can say, well, hey, no worries. We could probably flip a small rental, maybe a duplex, maybe a triplex, maybe a fourplex. Okay, suggest to them other alternatives other than just single family homes. What it does is it broadens their horizon and also sets you apart from the crowd. You're not just taking what they say and then, okay, let's just go do another flip, even when they said it's quite difficult. So in any case, establish their needs and wants based on the marketing piece that you've already given them. It'll help you lead them down that path of determining what their needs and wants are. Okay. Now, in any case, so you're into this conversation. You've determined what their needs and wants are. Once you feel like it's established, they're working with you, it's an open dialogue conversation, maybe they're asking you questions as well as you asking them questions, that's a very good sign. Okay, and if you feel like, based on what they're saying, that they're ready to move forward, in fact, you can ask them, hey, this is great. Are you ready to move forward with this? Are you ready to move forward with your next flip? When they say yes, okay, I want you to move into the second phase of the interview, which is the qualification phase. We really need to determine timing, motivation, readiness, willingness, and ability. So the first question you've already asked, are you ready to move forward with this? And they say yes, that's a timing thing. That means they're ready now. The fact that you've been speaking with them on the phone and they answered your question tells you they're probably willing, okay? And the fact that they called you up and you've had a conversation about the properties, the types of properties that you presented to them, probably shows motivation, okay? So you've got timing, willingness, motivation. You also need readiness and ability, which means you got to qualify them in financial terms, okay? And you actually tell them. You don't just try to sneak this in, or you say, okay, this is great. This is the exact words of you guys, okay? Remember, this is being recorded, so you'll have access to this the next day. Let me just double check and make sure. Yep, we're recording. Okay, so here's the exact script. okay, when you're going to qualify them for financial purposes. First thing you say is, hey, in order for me to work with you and represent you, I've got to qualify you financially, not a formal bank qualification or a pre-approval process, but a simple series of questions that we professional agents go through with our clients. All right, because when we work with other people, we have to show them, we have to confirm that we have actually qualified you. That's part of the business. Okay, this isn't just because I'm curious. It is a necessary part of the process for you to buy investments. Okay. Now you want to kind of tone that down to be more user friendly. I'm just trying to provide emphasis here as far as how serious this part of the process is for you and for your client. And guess what? When you go identify other properties, and let's say there's another realtor involved, they are definitely going to want to know that you qualified your client. Okay. In fact, when they go forward to make an offer, they've got to provide proof of funds. They've got to have an earnest money deposit check. When they go to a lender to seek a loan, if that's what they're doing, they've got to have their ducks in a row anyways. They might as well go ahead and get it together now. Okay. Plus, whether or not you should be continuing to work with that person at that point in time. Okay. In any case, back to this. First question is this: once you've established that that's what you're going to do, the very first question is ask them, hey, what do you have in savings? And don't use the words cash. How much money do you have? Don't say that. Just say, what do you have in savings? That implies, what liquid cash do they have? And if they might respond with a long-winded answer like, well, I really don't have savings, but I got a couple of CDs, or I've got a self-directed IRA I'm going to be transferring my old 401k to. I'll be buying within that. Let them talk and take notes. Make sure through this whole process, guys, make sure you're writing things down. And I used to keep a folder on each person. Okay. So write the answers down, and they might say, I have access to this, access to that, whatever it is. You want to make sure you can verify that. Whatever it is, the answers are telling you that. If it doesn't seem like it's too easily verifiable, you could have a little challenge on your hands. Bottom line is, you want to find out what liquid assets, what do they have that they can liquidate quickly, or what do they have in the way of direct access to cash right now at this moment. Okay. First question. Now the second question is this: do you have an available line of credit? Okay, and this is really, really important, because people who are prepared have often gone out and already established a line of credit against their home, a HELOC, home equity line of credit, or maybe a personal line of credit, PLOC. We used to call those signature loans. I've done both. I've used both over the years. What you're looking for is, do they have immediate access to funding? Okay, it's basically borrowed money, but it's not like they have to go apply for it. No, they've already done that. They already have access to funds in the form of borrowing for borrowing purposes. Okay, all right. There could be a number of answers, but those are the two most likely answers: home equity line of credit, personal line of credit. Oh, sorry, there's a third answer: credit cards. A lot of people play what I call the credit card game, and I do too. What that means is, you establish credit with the major credit card companies, but you're not using it all. You just use enough to keep your credit rating up. You have to use credit to get credit, guys. To increase your credit rating, you've actually got to use credit. Okay. So we have students who do this all over the place. You accumulate credit cards, not all at the same time, but one at a time. Okay. Now, in the beginning, if you don't have any, yes, get several at the same time. But over time, you'll keep adding to your credit card collection, if you will, and you want to keep revolving them so that they stay fresh and current. But what that does is it gives you access, or in this case, your clients access to lending from their credit card companies that is not secured. Okay. So what that means is they can do balance transfers, take a balance of one credit card, move it to another, so they can reuse the credit on the one credit card. Or maybe you can do cash advances. Some credit card companies will send you checks that you can use. The point I'm trying to make is you want to see if that's in fact what your clients are doing. Perfectly legitimate. I've bought dozens and dozens of properties completely 100% on credit cards. Okay. In any case, that's the second part. The third part is this: is their credit rating. So the question here is this: do you know what your credit rating is? You don't have to ask for it directly. You don't have to say, can you tell me what your credit rate is? Just say, do you know what it is? And if they know, sometimes they actually will tell you. Okay. If they say, yes, I know what it is, and they don't give you what the actual number is, say, do you believe it's high enough for you to seek financing should you need it? Okay. So that's sort of a question 3.B, right? And if they still give you an ambiguous answer, say, in today's world, you should easily have something in the 700s. You know, if you have something in the 800s, you're gold. You can get credit. If you're in the 700s, upper 700s, you're generally going to be okay. That's considered good credit, by the way, mid sevens. But if they're down in the sixes, it doesn't mean that they can't get credit. It just means they may have to pay more for it. That the terms may be more strict when they have credit ratings in the 600s. Okay, so in any case, ask them what that is, and I will tell you this, based on the answers, you'll know if you want to continue with that person at that time. If the answers aren't good across the board, it doesn't mean you necessarily work with them, but they may have some work to do to build up credit, to build up some savings, all right, to get pre-approved from a banker in the area in case they should need to get a mortgage, okay? But the point is this, is one of the other points I want to make is this, the consumers who know what their credit score is generally are on top of their credit game, okay? You can always suggest to them that they use Credit Karma. If they don't have a clue what it is, Credit Karma, I think, gives you like a free credit report of 2 of the 3 major credit reporting agencies. But in any case, just know this, typically the people that know what their credit score is, and they know what they have available in cash, and know what they have available and readily accessible lines of credit and or credit cards, are generally going to be your better customers because they're in the game. They're doing what they need to do to be able to buy properties. Okay, that's the most critical thing. Now, let's say they're not. Let's say, based on their answers, you don't think they're ready. You can suggest to them that they seek you know, a company that would help them build their credit and gain access to credit, to be able to borrow money. And one of the ones I've used with a lot of success, and they work all over the US. I'm not sure if they work in Canada. It's called CIS. They're out of Pittsburgh, and Paul Ritter is the owner's name. I know him personally. I've had a lot of clients go to him with great success. He's spoken on the webinars before, great guy. I've also seen him at different conferences. He's well respected around the North America. And I'm trying to think if you go to the silver level members area, guys, on myinvestmentservices.com. So go to, you know, I'll just show you. Go to myinvestmentservices.com. Hang on one second here. Let me go back to the beginning. Let's go to home. So if you go to myinvestmentservices.com, let me do this. Let's just start from the beginning. myinvestmentservices.com. Click on. I still didn't go to the home page. Let's go to the home. Here we go. That's where I want to go. Home page. Okay. I'm not sure why it's taking me back to the members area. Let's just start from scratch. I just want to take you guys through this step by step, okay? myinvestmentservices.com. Okay, you should all see this. To get to the silver level, guys, you want to click on members area. All right, click on members area. Go down here to where it says click to log into silver here. Okay, click on that. All right, and then mine's pre-filled, so it goes directly there. In here, you can see all this stuff that you have access to, right? The monthly newsletter. Let's see, we call it the Profit Booster. I'm pretty sure which one is this one? It should be September, should be out there. Let's see. Yep, there's September. Okay, October coming up soon. In any case, the blog's out there. Of course, if you go back to here, you got cash buyers report, guys. That is critical. private lenders report, access that. You request it, it comes to you usually within a day, but you can ask for it 24/7, 365. All the webinars we've done, hundreds of them out there, okay? The celebrity interviews, premier ebooks, all the marketing techniques and docs, calculators, spreadsheets. In any case, what I was going to show you, one of the things you can do on here is go to, where's the community site? Hang on one second. Let's go back up to the beginning. Appear, home, and community site should be right here. Okay, so you click on community site right there. I'm not going to go in there because we'll get off on a whole big tangent. But if you click in there, there's a way you can see all the different vendors and service providers, as well as all of your colleagues from all over. Here, I'll just click on it. And I'll get back to the class here in just a second. A lot of you are new, and a lot of you just probably haven't been on here yet. But these are all the people. Whoop, back up to the top. Okay, that are on here now. Okay, everybody gets access to this if you're in the program. You got vendors, contractors, plumbers, helpful websites, investment opportunities. People put their properties out there for sale. Agent location. In any case, all that's out there, guys. All right, so back to this. All of the tools, access to those vendors are all on here. So in any case, once you feel like you've got your person qualified, this is going to probably be like a half-hour process. You can maybe do it as short as 15 minutes. The next thing you want to do is this, and this is critical, so you want to write this down, okay? You want to have them email you, and here's what you're going to ask them. Say, hey, this has been a great conversation. I think you're going to make a great investor. I look forward to working with you. The first step is this. Would you please email me with a recap of our conversation in your own words? I'll let you write that down and let that settle in. You may be wondering, why would you do that? Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one is this. It does allow you to get a recap of the conversation from their words, so that you have now their understanding, okay? And you can respond to the emails and add some things or modify some things as necessary, so that you guys have a complete understanding of this working relationship. That's the obvious thing, but here's the thing that's not so obvious, but it's critically important. Would you say that when someone responds to you from that email, that they're demonstrating what we call commitment? In other words, they're willing to commit with you on a small scale, okay? They're willing to commit with you on a small scale. They'll later on be more likely to commit on a large scale, like buying a big property, okay? All right, second thing is this, it shows engagement. They're engaging with you. Now it's a two-way street. It's like a handshaking relationship. But more importantly, it's not one person's up here, one's down here. You're literally on the same level with each other. They treat you as if you're a valuable member of their team. So commitment, engagement. The third thing is this. When you actually take the steps necessary to type things in, put in your email address and hit the enter key, what does that show you? The most important thing of all, it shows you that they're willing to take, and you can write that in if you want, they're willing to take action. Yep, you're willing to take action. Okay, so in any case, back to this. Let me go back to the script here. Let's see, where was I? Here I am. Okay, so back to the script. So they email you. Now, once they email you, here's the next critical thing. Now, this isn't on here. I'm just getting you ready to actually use this process, guys. Okay, so the next thing is this. When they email you back, you don't actually start right away working with them. What you're going to do is this. You want to get them under contract, and now is the perfect time to get them under contract. So what you do is this. You say, hey, this has been a great, I'm looking forward to working with you. Great email. I think we have an understanding. Please sign this form I'm sending you now in the attachment. It's an agreement that binds us together contractually. What that means is I'm now committed to working with you and for you and keeping your information confidential. Otherwise, if we don't have this in writing, state law allows me to share your information. I don't want to do that, and you don't want me to do that either. By the way, it gives me incentive to work extra harder for you because I know that you're committing to me through this next transaction. Okay. In any case, don't try to be too wordy with it. Just give them that the buyer's agency agreement already filled out. Okay. And all they got to do is sign it and return it to you. Right. Now, once they do that, then you can begin searching for them. Now, in here, we give the example of using the MLS. The reason is we all use MLSs. And so one thing we all have in common, the only exception is certain parts of the New York City area don't really have like traditional MLS. It's just different. They have there's one thing called LIBOR. There's different things that we use up in the city. And but what I'm getting at is that it's the same principle, same process. I'm going to walk you through the process, and you just be using the systems you have available to you in your region, okay, in your area. All right. So first things first. Once you get all this established, you got the interview done, they've emailed you back, you sent them the form, they sent that back to you, and now got yourself a client. The full blown, you went from lead to prospect to client. Now you've got to actually go out and locate inventory for them. Now, if you're not going to use the MLS, and quite frankly, I will tell you, you're not going to find a lot on the MLS. We have to use other tools, like some of the tools I've taught you already in class, the letter program, visiting small banks, things like that. But let's just say, for the sake of the class tonight, that you're using the MLS system. Okay. What I do is this: I go and find all the properties that meet the criteria that I believe needs to be met for my client here, and I send them all of those properties. Okay. And I do the full listing with photo, the biggest listing you can possibly get, the biggest format you want to send to them, right? Now, the objective is for them to narrow down the scope of their effort and the scope of your effort too, for that matter, okay? So here's how we do this, okay? Let me go back to instructions. Let's say you found 50 properties for them. In the example here, it says we want to cut that down in half to 30 properties. Let's just say that's numbers 25. So let's say you found them 50 potential properties. You gather the information, you send that to them, information on the properties. You're going to guide them through the process of how to go through the properties to determine the ones they want the most. Remember, guys, this is the critical distinction between you working as a traditional door knocking, cold calling, postcard realtor to being a professional investor agent. This critical piece right here, you nail this, you got yourself a business. Okay. All right. So first thing is this: I'm going to walk you through the process that you're going to go through yourself initially, so you can learn this. You guys are going to do this for yourselves first, and then you're going to show this to your clients. All right. So we are on step number 5. So the first thing we do is this: is let's assume I'm your agent and you're my client. I'm going to walk you through this. So I'll walk you through the first time, and once you've done this the first time with your client, then they do it themselves every time thereafter. And they can call you, obviously, for questions and things like that, no doubt about it. I mean, you want to serve them. Believe me, you're still going to be their service provider. You're going to get these properties for them, get them in the properties. But the thing is, they need to have skin in the game, okay? And they need to understand intellectually how to properly invest, because those are your best investors. And I will tell you, if you do it the right way and you have them do it the right way, then you got yourself a repeat client. They know what they're doing. You don't have to worry they don't know what they're doing. The people that you just let them go out and buy the first thing that pops up generally make more mistakes, and they won't come back, and you won't have a repeat client. So this process, the biggest benefit for you is you will have repeat clients as a result of this process. So first part of the process is this. You're going to go through the properties and look at whatever the owner thinks it is they want for the property. Let's say on the MLS, we call that the list price, okay? You're going to compare that with what is the average market value for that type of property in the area. Now, you should have that at your fingertips, because you can find that online. You can go to your MLS system and determine that. You could even search it online, Google it. There's all kinds of resources and websites. The point is this: is somebody needs to know that area, and that somebody should be you and eventually your client. Okay, so what you're gonna do is literally compare what the seller wants for the property with what properties like theirs are actually selling for in the area. We actually call this the ARV, after repair value. So this is the value of properties in the area that are up to code, safe, clean, reliable, and marketable condition. Not just living condition, but marketable condition. Okay, that's the ARV. Let's just say we're looking for a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, or a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, whatever the case is. You're going to compare what the seller of the property wants with what that property should be worth in the market. Any property that the asking price is lower than the average price for the area, the ARV, you keep that property in your good pile. Everything where the owner is asking more than they should, get rid of it. Don't even look at it. I know you might miss a deal every now and then, but just believe me, you're going to be saving yourself a ton of time and focusing your energy more on the best properties, not the most expensive, not the cheapest, the absolute best right property in the best area at the right time. That's how we conduct ourselves like a business. So let's say they narrow that down first time around to cut in half to say 30 properties, right? That's just the first wave. That usually will go pretty fast. The second wave of activity is going to take a little bit more time. All right. Now, what I do is this for myself, and this is what I've taught all my clients and what I've taught all my agents, okay, is to now go through the properties in greater detail. All right. Second wave is this. You start looking at the photographs of the property, the room sizes, the lot sizes, the number of bathrooms. Is there a separate dining room? Is there a basement? Or is there a finished basement? Is there a garage? Everything I need to see needs to be in alignment with other houses in the area, because if it's not, then the pricing needs to be different. So in other words, not only does pricing need to be good, favorable, but you also want to, you only want to flip properties, guys, that are the easiest properties to flip in the area. So if you're in an area that's all 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes, and this guy's trying to flip a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home, it's just going to be a little bit difficult. You want to only flip homes that match or in alignment with the other homes in the area. So in any case, that's why I'm looking at all these other characteristics: the yard size, the number of bedrooms to room sizes, total square footage, all that type of stuff. And everything that doesn't match, I get rid of it. Okay, so now we've narrowed it down even further. Let's say down to 15 properties. Okay, now the next thing is this. You want to have the client go through a drive-by. Okay, you don't do this. This isn't your job. This is the client's job. Go do drive-bys on the remaining 15 properties. Okay, maybe it's 10 properties, somewhere between 10 and 15. They're going to go by, just drive by. They're not going to look at the properties on the inside. They're just literally going to drive by the properties, go down the streets, go around the neighborhoods, and look for telltale signs, in the case of flipping, that people are trimming their shrubbery, planting flowers, and they have decent cars in the driveway. Kids are playing, people are jogging, people are walking their dogs, there's foot traffic. Looking for all those characteristics that help you determine if this in fact is a good area for flipping, because people obviously like to live there. Okay, now let's say they go by properties and they really can't get a good street view. It is okay for them. It's okay for you too to get out of your car and actually walk around the sidewalks. Be careful about going up people's driveways and walking up their personal sidewalks, their steps or something like that. We're not ready to do that yet. I mean, if you feel like you need to do that, feel free, but just be aware that that's generally something you do later on when you actually go inspect the property. Okay, so in any case, based on the drive-bys, they're going to narrow that list down again by half. Okay, going to list it, they're going to go down and cut it in half. Maybe it's going to be 6, 7, 8 properties. Let's just say it's 7 in the case of this exercise. We'll say it's 7 properties. At this point, what I have my clients do is start to fill out some of the forms. And here I'll show you some of the forms on the website. So let's go back to where we were. Okay, let's go here, analysis forms. Okay, remember, this is all on a server level membership right here. So analysis forms and calculators. You got a property inspection report, property rehab report, different calculators and spreadsheets. Let me just go look at one or two of these. Hang on one second. So this is in all your training material, but let's just look at a property inspection report. This can start to be being filled out right there on the spot. Okay, so we got that. Let's go back and do the next one. Let's download property rehab form. Okay, because we're looking at a flip, right? So we're going to download these forms. Now I want to see something else here real quick. Down here is analysis forms. Okay, we did it. Let's look at marketing techniques and docs. There might be some other docs here. Okay, booklet, letter to owners, tax strategies, financial or financing doc. Okay, that's all the different ways to finance. Important free resources to gather data on people and properties. That's a big one, guys, right there. But let's just go look at these. Property inspection reports, the first one they'll fill out. They're just going to go through. Okay, I'll bring this up here and fill all this in based on the notes that they have, and it's all going to be on the exterior right now. Grounds and building, okay? They're not going to fill out the rest of this till we actually go look inside the property. Okay, so that's the property rehab report. I'm sorry, property inspection report. Let's close out that. Let's see, when it close this out, then we'll go back and look at the other one, which is a property rehab report. So in other words, you do this in exact order. Inspection report followed by rehab report. This is where you actually fill in dollars and cents based on your notes from the previous form. You fill in all these dollar amounts and you add up all these dollar amounts. And at the end, you got yourself a project sheet. In any case, back to this. This is what you're going to have them do. You're going to have them do the property inspection report based on the exterior review of the property that night, and start doing some calculations, okay? What you're going to do is now you, the agent, step in and get more involved at this point. You're going to now schedule appointments to go see these final 7 properties, okay? Your client's already done some legwork on it. You're going to set up the appointments to go see the properties with them, all right? Now, real quick, let me just check the panel here for questions. So I'm getting ready to go into another phase of this lesson tonight. Okay, everybody says you're okay, no questions. Hey guys, if you have questions, type them in, guys. This is the time to do it. All right. Okay, so back to this, and I'll check for questions here in a second. You set your appointments. You're now going to go look at the properties. My recommendation is this: never go out and look at fewer than 3 properties, because you want to have a point of comparison. If you only go out and look at one property, it's too easy to make mistakes because you have no point of reference, no point of comparison, okay? You want to always look at a minimum 3 properties. And I'll also tell you that the maximum you should be looking at is about 6. I know it's got 7 in here. Maybe you can stretch it to 7, but I will tell you, after a lot of years of experience, and we've documented this, turns out the human brain is really only capable of, gathering, organizing, compiling data on about 6 properties. That's it for the average human brain. Okay, 6 properties. You literally go through the properties, and we'll I don't know if we'll have time to go through that process tonight, the analysis part of it. We'll save that for a different webinar, actually, because we got to finish this one up tonight. But the point is this: you're going to go through the properties in detail and fill out the property inspection report completely. This is your client doing this, okay? At the end of the day, and you can have them start to fill out some rehab forms too. But remember, inspection is just what they identified as being that needs to be addressed. That's the inspection report. The rehab report is where they actually determine the actual scope of the project, of the rehab project, including dollars and cents. Okay, so we'll do those also. We'll do that on a different night. All right, but for tonight, let's assume you're filling those out right there at the properties. Okay, at the end of the day, what you want to try to narrow things down to is at least 1 property, if not 2 or 3 properties that make really good sense to make offers on. Now, here's how you determine that. This is one of the most important things you can do, guys, is this. Let's say you finish looking at the last property. It is not time to go home. So don't let them say, hey, gee, I got to go. I'll call you later. You just gave up control of the process. What you should say is this. Hey, it's been a great day. We've looked at some pretty awesome properties. What I want to do is let's go through those properties right now and eliminate, separate the wheat from the chaff, okay? You could do this on the hood of your car. You can do this on, go to Starbucks, Panera Bread. You can go back to your office if you want. Or if the place is empty, you can literally sit there at the property, the last property, and do this process, which I'm going to explain next. Here's what it is. It's a cathartic process, which means you get them involved mentally and physically, using their hands and their brains. So 2 ways to go about this. You're going to literally compare all, let's say the 6 properties. You're going to compare the notes on all 6 properties, the inspection sheets and any rehab sheets they've already had partially filled out. And by the way, I do encourage my clients to take pictures as they go through the properties, okay? I've even had clients actually go through with an old video camera like this and literally record everything. They're walking through, they're talking as they're walking. They're not taking notes at this point, they're just recording. And then later on, they go back and take notes and fill out the forms. Regardless, you want to get all the information available to you that you have. Still shots with your cameras and your inspection form and your rehab form. And you lay them out side by side, okay? Now, here's 2 ways to do this. Number 1 is lay them out side by side, like I just said, all 6 of them. And you have your client say, look at these properties now. If you could only buy 5 of the 6 properties, which one would you most likely be able to live without? You take that property, scrunch it up, and you throw that away. That's the cathartic part. Okay, you're literally showing them that property is a part of the past. They don't even spend any more time on it. We're going to focus on the remaining 5. They need to do the same thing. Let's say you can only buy 4. Which one of these 5 remaining properties could you most likely live without? And you eliminate that property, get down to 4. Do the same thing, get down to 3. Let's say you can't get past 3. That's cool. You can just go, I'll show you what to do here in a minute, but that's one way of analyzing the properties, comparing side by side. Here's another way. You got 6 properties again, for example. What you do is you just compare 2 at a time. So you take the first one and the second one, compare them together, have your clients do the comparison and say, okay, if you could only buy one of these, which one would it be? And you take the other one, just crumple it up, ball it up, throw it away. Then you compare that remaining property with the next property in line. And keep doing that all the way down. And let's say you get it down to 3 that they can't decide on. They're like, you know what, all 3 look good, I can't go any further. Whichever process you decide to use, they both work equally well, okay? It's just some consumers will prefer the big picture, like when you see all 6 of them together, and some consumers can prefer just to have 2 at a time. You have to determine that by when you're working with them and lay them out and then say which way do you want to go about this. You ask them and they'll tell you. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's say you get it down to 3 properties. Here's where successful agents strike gold. What you do now is say this. Say, great, we now got this narrowed down to 3 bona fide, deals, potential deals to flip and generate a profit. I want you to go home, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, review your numbers, tweak them, get them to where you feel like you got them as complete as you can based on what we've seen so far. Scan them in and email them to me. They're gonna email to you their rehab sheet with the dollars and everything. There's actually a guide to show you how to do this, which we'll do in a separate session. But in case you say, I'm gonna call you at 9 o'clock tonight, please email me your homework. You call it homework if you want, but the final rehab sheets on these final properties before 9 o'clock. And we're going to go over those at 9 o'clock. You call them up at 9 o'clock and you say, okay, we got these 3 properties. Clearly, there's a front runner here, 1, 2, 3 Main Street. However, 4, 5, 6 Smith Avenue looks pretty darn good too. Maybe sometimes they're hard to compare, guys. The reason is there's different variables. They're called variables. And sometimes the variables do not match between properties. So it's not like you're comparing apples and apples. You're comparing apples and oranges. At the end of the day, you got to decide, okay, profit may look better on property A, but the rehab project on property B may be much easier, which means less risk. which also means you generally put the property back on the market faster and recoup their money faster. And remember this, time and money, in the beginning, people focus on money. Money becomes more important than time. Over time, you'll find people will spend more emphasis, will put more emphasis on time. Time becomes more valuable than money. The only way to know that is to go through this process with these folks. So in any case, at the end of the day, you're talking with them over the phone. You do the same thing you did earlier, but only with the final 3 properties. And you say, you know what? Looks like to me, property A is the one you should pursue first. We're only going to make one offer. We're going to make one offer on this property. We're not going to make offers on 3 different properties. We don't do that in this game. That's what all the beginners do. That's what all the non-professional people do. Because let's face it, you make 3 offers and all 3 get accepted, and your client can only buy one, you're going to have mud on your face. And your reputation is everything in this business. So let's say you narrow it down to the one final property. This is what you do. Then you say, okay, great. I'm going to write up the offer right now. I'm going to have this over to you in 10 minutes. Please pull up your email. You can do this on .loop, or you can have them just download the thing, print it off, and scan it back to you. You're going to have them sign the sales agreement, okay, and send it back to you with a image copy of their earnest money deposit. That's the hand money check, and their proof of funds. All right, so now remember, you've already had them qualified. They should already have the proof of funds. But you need these 3 things to make a bona fide offer. So you tell them, to send that back to you and to text you when they sent it, and please get it back within the half hour. Now you got yourself a bona fide offer you can make, and you send to the other agent and send them a text message, say offer in your in basket, please review, get back to me by end of day tomorrow. Okay, now you made your offer. Now let's say the offer gets accepted. Maybe it's through negotiating. The bottom line is you got yourself a deal. And of the other, let's say the 2 other properties also look like pretty good deals. What should you do? Well, yeah, you're probably thinking, well, I'll buy it myself. Well, think of your other clients who've been looking that didn't have any success yet. Send them the next best property and say, look, I've been working with another client. This one came up. They can't buy it. They can't buy everything. If you want this, please let me know ASAP. We need to get this offer in within 24 hours. And you may have yourself another deal based on all the legwork that one of your other clients did. And let's say you still got a 3rd property. What you do with that one? Yeah, maybe buy that one yourself. Okay. So, and always disclose. Tell your client, hey, we're going to get you under contract with this one. As soon as it's under contract, I'm going to take this other one either and give it to one of my other clients. I just want to make sure you're aware of that. But we're going to take care of you first. This is you telling them that. But in any case, that's pretty much a 12-step process, guys. What I want you to do is to practice this process, okay? I want you to practice this, and you should practice it 3 times a week, okay? So let's see, this was, let me go back here real quick. Just want to check and make sure I've answered all your questions, and I'll get back to what I was going to say in a second. Let's see. Oh, Joel and Marissa, perfect. So Joel and Marissa, if you're working together, you can role play on this. One of you can be the agent, one can be the investor. You should role play 3 times a week till you feel like you got it down. And most people, I will tell you, it takes about a month to master this. But once you do, this is how you operate with your clients. Remember, all the marketing you're going to be executing is going to drive the right kind of clients to you, okay? In any case, let me go back here and look at questions. I thought I saw one. Let's see. Kareem, I thought it was James. Hi. So Deb's saying she can see me and hear me. Thanks, Deb. Christine, Joel and Marissa here. Okay, we got past that. Kevin Williams, Michelle. James Bean, question. Hey, James, how you doing, buddy? Hey, James, did you and Susan Bai connect? Also, I want to have you, James, connect with Daryl Murphy. Okay, one of your questions was being able to gather and compile public data in New Jersey. And there's different sources you can use, and he's been able to accomplish some of that recently. So I want you to contact him. He's in the Moorestown Market Center, Moores, Moorestown Market Center. I think he was at, I don't think he was at the 3-day event in New Jersey, James. He'll be at the one in New York. Come to the one in New York and you'll see him there. Okay, in any case, James is asking, question on item 4, how the investor will receive the MLS link. And then James, your question drops off there. How will they receive the link? You're going to set them up on searches, James. If you're going to use MLS, set them up on searches so that they come out automatically. You don't actually do it yourself personally or manually. They come out automatically based on you setting them up in the MLS system. If you're getting properties outside the MLS, you're going to send them to them directly. Again, you do have to manually do that via email. So that's how you do that. Let's see. Whoops, I'm going the other way. Let's go back to our questions here. That was James. Okay. Everybody's saying, I am a business. I'm so proud of you guys for doing that. But I thought we had some more questions here. I am a business. Eleanor, hey, Eleanor, with some dollar signs behind it. You see, lady, hey, lady, why do they need me if they are doing all the legwork? This is lady, because you're the one, lady, you're the one that's going to be finding them the inventory, right? That's one of the main things you're going to do. You're also going to be executing all the paperwork. You're going to be, if they go to flip the property, I mean, you're still going to be the agent. The point is this though, remember when you work with owner occupants, all you do is you find them the inventory and you take them through the inspection process, the mortgage application process, all that stuff, the appraisal, all that normal stuff. So when you work with investors, if you take it upon yourself to also do all the analysis on the properties, you're doing way above and beyond the call of duty. That's why we investor agents make the big bucks. And I've had people tell me they just want me to do that, and I tell them, great, I charge $1,000 an hour, and I do, and I actually get it. When I tell them those, I say, on the other hand, you can just agree to work with me because this is how I work, and as a result of this process, I'm going to show you how to do that. And here's the big thing, lady. You don't ever want an ill-informed client. You don't want an uneducated client. You want them to be educated and informed. And the best clients, they want to do their own analysis. They don't want anybody doing an analysis for them. They just want us to find in the properties. And I promise you, the ones that do, that show you commitment, engagement, and action taking are going to be your lifetime clients, clients forever. Okay, they're the ones that we keep coming back and again because they know what they're doing. They know you know that, and they know you know what you're doing, and you've helped them to figure this all out. Believe me, you show them how to do this, you got a friend for life, and a good client who buys multiple properties. So the benefit kind of goes both ways. Let's see. That was lady. So this is Deb. Okay, Deb. Gary, is this the 12-step sheet on the website? I don't think, this is Debbie Lopez. Debbie Lopez, I don't think this was on the website. It's in your training material. If you're in the investor agent training program, it's in module 2. It could be on the website, I just might not be aware of it. Okay, that was James' question. We answered that. Do you recommend that the investor come with a contractor to prevent, and that got cut off. They can, that was, let's see, who was asking that question? That was Eleanor. Hey, Eleanor. In the beginning, I actually did that myself. I hired an inspector to come with me, not a contractor, but an inspector to come with me to my first 3 properties. And I had him teach me how to do an inspection. Okay. Then going forward, I always make sure my clients have been trained through some other training program to invest, or I've trained them myself, okay? Because if they have, then they know how to go through a property and look at things. If they haven't, I'm more than happy to train them. So that's another, so lady, this is another example of value you bring to the table, because you can show them how to do this once you learn yourself, and you do learn that through the program, by the way. So I would say if they'll tell you when they're ready to no longer need a contractor, because they figured they can look at things, and it's not like they're doing formal inspections. They're just saying, you know what, this furnace is 20 years old. I better figure out a new furnace to be safe. There's always error on the side of caution. Anybody can look at a roof and tell the roof has been pitted, the shingles are missing, they're curled up, roof needs to be replaced, okay? Um, so in any case, what I do recommend is this, guy, this is sort of outside the scope of the class, but when I'm working with clients and we're going through a property, I'm not going to let them fall off the railroad track. If I see something going sideways, I am going to step in and say, look, guys, I think you need to have a professional here. So if we're looking at electrical, plumbing, heating, cooling, whatever, any of the major systems, and there's some uncertainty there, I would always tell them, look, let's get a professional contractor or an HVAC contractor or a plumbing contractor or an electric contractor, pay them $100 if they want, have them come in and give them either the green light or the red light on that particular system in that property. Absolutely. But over time, what will happen is they're not going to want to pay for inspections on every property once they figure out how to kind of look at things by eyeballing it and erring on the side of caution. However, from time to time, yes, you do bring in an expert, even with the seasoned veterans. Okay, let's see, this is James. Okay, are all of these activities done in one-on-one meeting, or can some of these tasks be done in a group? Yes, so James, good question. So if you're going to do the workshop, James, or anybody, you can go over this stuff in your workshops. This is awesome stuff to go over in your workshops. In fact, everything we give you is not intended to keep for yourself. It's intended to share with your clients, okay? Show them how to do these things. See, some of you guys already, I can tell by your questions, some of you guys are getting this. The more you share, the more you give, I promise you, the people that respond to that are your clients. The ones that don't and they don't care, whatever, let them move on. They're not the kind of people you want to work with, okay? Good question, James. All right, should you tell the flipper who purchased house that you are going to show house B to another investor? The answer is yes. So Alfred, I don't do that until the time comes to make an offer. And when they're ready to make an offer, I'll say, great, we're going to make an offer on property A. Once it's agreed upon, so we don't let this property fall in the hands of our competitors, of the enemy. I'm going to show this to one of your other colleagues in our community, in our investor community, people that just like you I've trained, and make sure you say you okay with that, because otherwise somebody else is going to grab it. Might as well let one of our guys get it. Okay, that's how I handle that. Perfect question, and that's a great answer. Let's see, Joel, is this process only for houses found in the MLS? So no, Joel, at the beginning, I apologize. I probably didn't emphasize it enough. I just used the example of the properties on the MLS for the purpose of the class tonight. But the reality is you do the same process no matter how you come up with the inventory. If you use a letter campaign, for example, go to the banks, you're going to gather the information. Remember, this is, so lady, this is why you get paid the big bucks. You're going out to find the properties, which is hard work. Your client's going to determine if they want to buy it or not. That's always their decision. So good question, Joel, but yes, the same process applies no matter how you locate the inventory. James says, Susan and I have connected. Well, that's awesome, awesome. Let's see, this is, hey, Fassel, how you doing, buddy? At times I find commercial clients do not want to commit to one agent. Yeah, I don't like to work with those guys, Fassel. I've learned in the past, man, it's just like in marriage, would you marry somebody who says they're dating 5 other people? You know, I just want to work with somebody who's willing to commit to me. You have to demonstrate value for them to do that. Now, I will tell you there are exceptions, and some of the exceptions are the banks. I work with a bank as long as they give me exclusive on an individual listing. I'm okay with that. I don't expect an exclusive on the entire bank, but I do expect an exclusive on the individual listings. So if you want to work with clients who work with other investors, guys, just be aware, man, let's say they're working with 4 other clients, there's 5 of you all together. What that means is theoretically you got a 20% chance of collecting commission. And they might say, oh, anything you bring me, I'll make sure you're the guy. They may do that, they may not. But the point is, if it's not in writing, man, you could find yourself working for not getting paid. Now, if some of you are doing this, guys, and you're not making a lot of money, this is probably part of it. Okay, you want to work with people where you got a 100% probability of being paid by finding the right property, them saying yes to buy the property, you're guaranteed to get paid. Work with those people. Hey, Fassel, anyways, I just saw an email from Bevan. I want you at the mastermind. I'll call you. I'll email Bevan you both. But in any case, I'm not trying to break any uh, uh, whatever you guys have agreed upon. In any case, short version is this: I want you to mastermind. Okay, let's see. Daryl Murphy. Hey, Daryl, how you doing, buddy? How do you handle objections in regards to signing a contract from investor? Sometimes it will state they find me a property and we can maybe work together. So Kareem, I don't work with those guys. I know it's hard. I know it sounds like when I say this, it rubs people the wrong way because it's what you've been used to, but that's just what you've been used to. I promise you, do the kind of marketing that I'm teaching you, you won't have that problem nearly as often. I'm not saying it won't ever happen, but it will definitely not happen as much if you just use the marketing that we give you to use, okay? And the other thing too is, think about it, through that process that we went through, the interview process, you've already got them through rapport building, commitment, engagement, action steps. It would be unusual for them to not sign the form at that time. If they didn't, you know what? Same thing I just had, same conversation I had with Fassel. Maybe you don't want to work with them, okay? In any case, that's my theory. In the beginning, I will tell you guys, I didn't do that because I didn't know better. I kept just trying to work with anybody that crossed my path. And I was working a lot harder, but I figured out how to work smarter. I was making a lot more money, okay? So follow the program, follow the rules, even if it feels painful sometimes, like you're going to get rid of a client. Just know this, that every hour you free up working with one of those guys gives you 1 more hour free to work with the right kind of clients, okay? Let's see, this is James is asking, are all these activities done in one-on-one meeting? Oh, we already answered that, okay. I don't know why these messages are getting, usually they're in order. Okay, this is Joel. How often can you double in this type of deal? So Joel, when you use the listing techniques we get, I can't give you an exact number. Everybody's different, but I would promise you this: your double unders will go way up. Okay, if you use the inventory getting techniques we use, the listing techniques we use to get properties, you definitely dramatically increase your double unders. So, in any case, and also remember this: tonight we just kind of, the way we talked about it was like the buyer clients. Let's face it, over time they're going to want to sell, and when you do things this way, they're going to use you because of the way you've positioned yourself. Okay, so you might get like a buy side now, and then you might get a sell side a year later. Or in the case of a multi, it could be 10 years later. But the bottom line is, you do your job, keep working with them. I promise you, you'll have a lot more repeat business. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Hey, James, for some reason your question keeps popping up over and over again. Hi, Susan. Hi, Susan saying, this is Susan. Hi, Gary. What training is required to prepare prospective investors that have never, so that's from James again. So James, I would literally, what I just went through tonight with you, that's one of the first things you want to go through with them. If they have not had any other training, I would highly encourage you to have them take one of the My Investor Services training programs. In this case, Flipping for Profits. In fact, you guys all remember this. If one of your clients takes one of the My Investor Services training programs on flipping, for example, and they came in as a result of you get paid to do that. And I think it's like $500, okay? You can donate that to them to go up against their commission, whatever you want to do with it. But the point is if they take one of those training programs, they're going to be trained to work with you exactly the way you want, the way I'm teaching you tonight. So the way I'm teaching you tonight is the way they're all taught in these other training programs. It's one of the biggest benefits I've ever seen. Let's see, this is Susan by, okay. Let's see, Susan by is thinking, I think the difficult part is finding the properties. The MLS has properties, but after doing some analysis on several types of properties, there is very few investment properties with outstanding cash on cash or rate. Yeah, so so tonight, Susan, I was just talking about using the learning technique of interviewing and working with the clients using flipping. We can do the same thing on another session going over rentals. And more importantly, back to your question specifically, we actually don't use the MLS much at all for rentals, quite frankly. We use these other marketing techniques, like using the letter, for example. This is Susan again. Susan's asking, when we give the investor the listings, we should have analyzed the properties for good rate of return, right? Well, on the rentals, Susan, you want to gather the information. You want to gather the information on the properties. You want to always ask for, and again, this is a separate session. I'll just answer the question because you've asked a question here tonight. We'll do a separate session just on rentals, but the answer is you should gather the information on the rentals, income, expense, asset, liability, profit, loss, to provide that to your clients, okay? And you can show them, I've got the information on the properties. Here's what the current owner claims to be the cap rate in the cash on cash return. I suggest you go through these yourselves. This is you speaking to your client, and satisfy yourself that they're accurate in their assumption. Okay, that's what you want to do. Remember, guys, I know this is new to some of you, the way we do this, but just stick with me, go through it. I promise you're going to have a much easier life, a much more profitable life. Okay. Now, I can't help it. I do look at all that stuff. When it comes through to me, I definitely look at it. So when my clients talk to me, I can speak intelligently about the properties. But what I'm getting at, Susan, I'm going to teach my clients how to do the analysis. I am going to go through it myself so that when they come back with questions, I'm prepared. But I don't want to give them all the answers because then they're not going to be educated. They're not going to be informed. I want them to be educated and informed. Good question. Let's see, this is from Susan again. But we wouldn't develop a good relationship with the investor only when we give them properties that are worth investing in. Well, yeah, you want to. So when you remember, Susan, when you're going after the properties, you're not going to give them the junk. You're only going to give them the ones you went after. Remember, we do targeted marketing. We pre-select the people we're going to send letters to, for example. And if the owner won't cooperate with you, they won't send the information. We're not going to provide those to our clients. We're only going to provide to our clients the information on the properties where the owner is ready, willing, and able to provide the information, because then we know they're ready, willing, and able to sell. And in that case, chances are we have everything we need to look at. I mean, if you remember, I said I do look at the information myself. If I find stuff that's completely disastrous, I'm not going to waste my client's time with it. Absolutely not. But remember, I don't want to give them all the answers. I just want to give them the properties to look at that they're going to do the analysis on and come to their own conclusions. If I determine ahead of time that it's not worth it, I'm not going to provide them the property. So you're right in that regard. Just be careful you don't fall in that trap of them saying, oh, well, you just go do the analysis on that. Don't ever let yourself fall in that trap, guys, because if you do that and 6 months later they come back and say, hey, that property ended up being a real disaster, you're left holding the bags because you did the analysis. Okay, so there's a legal reason for that. Let's see. So this is Susan asking, so there is an exclusive investor and agent agreement. So no, Susan, it's the same old one you already have in your MLS system or your boards contract. So if you go online, you have all those forms available to you. It's the same buyer's agency agreement. Let's see, what training is required to prepare prospective investors? With James again. And guys, I think that's it for the question. So James and Susan get the gold star for being engaged and asking questions, guys. Hey, good class tonight. This one always brings up a lot of questions and a lot of engagement, because guys, I got to tell you, this is probably, I would tell you from my experience, mastering this process meant that me going from being just a regular old agent to being top grade, producing, profiting, business-like professional agent. So follow along, do the same thing. Oh, one more question from Joel. What if the investor does not come to the same conclusion on a potential? Well, Joel, that's okay. That's why we give them all the information and we have them go through the effort, because let's say you gave them, remember, 30 properties. They're not going to buy 30. They're probably going to buy one. So you got to go through everything we just went through tonight so they can come to those conclusions themselves. So everything we did tonight just answers your question. Alfred, you're welcome, buddy. All the best to you too. Hey guys, God bless you. For those of you coming, my gosh, I can't believe that's going to be not this Friday, but next Friday, Westchester Marriott, 9 a.m. Friday, September 28th, Saturday, September 29th, 9 to 5, and Sunday 9 to 1. I look forward to seeing you guys there. We've already got like 40 some odd people signed up. Going to be pretty an awesome event. I think we'll probably have a total of 50 or 60. They capped it off at 40 or 50, but we blew past that. I knew that was going to happen, guys, because I've been back up here before. And I mean, you guys, this is an awesome subject for this area. So God bless you all. God bless you. God bless your families. And we will see you next week, by the way, which is, we just moved it to next Monday night. It was originally scheduled for next Tuesday, the 25th. It's now going to be Monday, the 24th. I had to do that because on Tuesday, the drive I have between locations is too long. I'll never make it in time to do the webinar. So I apologize. Beverly just sent that out today. So I'll see you all next Monday at the webinar and the following Friday up at the Westchester Marriott. Take care and God bless, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.